Rise and shine. It's not sleepy time. Y'all, our eyes. Woo! Everyone been sleeping? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast. You know what we bring you today. We bring you hugs and nugs, hope and inspiration for growth and healing. Want your day to start off the most amazing way? We're going to start off with our little intro. We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And you know, the more research I did, the more I discovered the cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.
There you go, y'all. Growing in health, growing in cannabis. Healing isn't the absence of illness or disease. It's doing the best you can with what you have right here, right now. It's encompassing the whole. It is doing what you can so you can heal and get into the thrive zone. We got Carey Lee here today. Welcome, Carey Lee. My girl, Green Nurse Iowa, is here with us today in the house. And Carey Lee, for our new viewers, why don't you say hello and tell everyone where you're from and how awesome you are in the cannabis space as one of the Green Nurses and Green Nurse Iowa and your own business with Soul Thrive.
Oh my goodness. Goodness. Thank you for having me, Nurse Sherri. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carey Lee Lure. I am a registered nurse here in Iowa. I am a cannabis nurse that connects patients in Iowa to Iowa's medical program. I teach about the endocannabinoid system. I teach about how to safely choose product and how to effectively use that product. I'm also a registered patient in Iowa's medical cannabidiol program. I'm a nurse mentor with Holistic Caring Community. I'm also a certified ketamine nurse guide for Keta MD. CEO of Soul Thrive Health Consulting, and overall just a cannabis stigma fighter, especially for those that battle mental issues. I like to call it more along the lines of mental wellness. So there's a huge stigma amongst those thinking that mental health patients shouldn't be using cannabis, but I completely disagree. I am one of those patients, and I have successfully used the plant to heal, and I am a thriving baby, and that is what I want to do for all of you. I want to take you guys from survival to the thrive zone. So that's me. Boom.
You forgot one important thing.
Oh, what I forget?
You forgot that you are a nursing supervisor at the Green Nurse.
Oh,
Dang, right?
I am a nursing supervisor at the Green Nurse. Boom.
Yeah,
I love that.
I know we're gonna pop up another video probably a little bit later if I can get it up here if Mercury cooperates, because we merged. The Green Nurse and Holistic Caring Network merged. We're creating this ecosystem for providers and for patients and for nurses. So it's not just nursing, but we're bringing in the entire community. And so I'm just going to plug the community right now. And the reason why is because it's a safe place to go. It's uncensored, it's private, it's off social media. You can ask questions that you may not be able to ask when you're on social media. You want to be in a private environment. You have access to multiple providers across the globe and multiple other patients that are going through the exact same thing. So we have a free introductory to cannabis course, free monthly webinars, free book club that we actually had last night, and it was hilarious. I'm going to have to share with you a funny story about that. And then we have a free patient portal and support group. So we're really here for you all. We're developing also the Green Nurse Approved Marketplace, where we are vetting products and services for people. So nurses are taking a deep dive into what people are offering, into what people are producing, and the types of medicine. Because listen, let's face it, number one, it's expensive. And number two, not only are we registered nurses, not only are we health professionals, but we're patients. We're patients too. So we have two different perspectives and we're bringing them together because we care, right? We want you all.
That's right.
All in that thrive zone, right?
Yeah.
So join the community. That's the plug for the community. Back to good morning. Good morning, Glenn. Who else do we have here? We have Denise. We have Eric.
Green Nurse Denise in the house.
Listen, if you're all in the house, if you're here with us this morning, we want to hear from you. So please say hello. And please comment too if there's any specific subjects that you'd like us to cover. We're all on board, right? We're nurse researchers. And we love to bring you information, right? Information that we take and we break down so we can educate you, so you can take that information and ground it right into your body. And so you can utilize that as a different tip, trick, hug, or nug, right? To get your day started and to pair that with cannabis. So Carey Lee, let's talk. We're going to talk about one of your aspects of the daily 5 to Thrive. But for the new people, let's just talk about what is that? What is the daily 5 to Thrive? Why did you start it? What is it? And then we'll talk about the subject that we're going to cover today.
Okay, great. So 5 to Thrive was basically birthed out of my own mental health journey. I experienced psychiatric medication, pharmaceutical trauma is what we refer to it. Basically, I'm one of the third in our country that has treatment-resistant depression. So that basically means that there aren't any psychiatric medications that actually help me. The side effects of those medications actually hurt me even more so than the depression itself did. So it set a fire under my ass. Literally, I had to find other solutions, and I wasn't getting the information and the knowledge from the medical professionals that were taking care of me. So this is where I figured out, guess what? My 5 to Thrive, these are my 5 basic minimum self-care tools that I use every single day to keep myself in the Thrive zone. Number 1 is sleep, which we are going to talk about in depth today. Number 2, nutrition and hydration. I like to look at primarily plant-based nutrition and hydration in terms of like water, pH balance and whatnot. Moving your ass. This is one of my favorite ones. Moving your ass, getting physical, exercising, finding stuff that just really brings you joy, and you're really just getting into your body and feeling it and working it, right? That's actually very good for your mental health. Mindfulness and spirituality is a big portion of it too. I like to dabble in a lot of different things, meditation, gratitude journaling, which we talked about yesterday. I play around with oracle cards. I play around with music and dance are a very, very big part of my life. I don't know if anyone out there really knows, but I was in dance when I was younger in pom-poms. So, dancing is just it's a release. It's a release. It's a flow state.
Well, Carey Lee, there's another exercise. There is another thing that it's called skating. Carey Lee. Carey Lee, I don't know if y'all know, is an avid roller skater. She is absolutely badass on those skates. If you haven't watched some of her videos on Instagram and even on her personal page, Nurse Carey Lee and Soul Thrive, you have to look at them because really, really, it picks you up, You know what I mean? She's out there with her skates on. You can see her feet. She's got the music going, the scenery, and she's showing us, right, how to be her favorite self.
Yes. And I mean, like, look, I'm like nailing out so many of these things on the list just by skating.
Yeah.
Outdoor sunshine, music, dance, moving my body, and just being like literally filled with so much joy. And can I tell you something I've recently discovered that just makes me even happier than the act itself? It's like when I'm out in public and I'm skating, you wouldn't believe the smiles on other people's faces. And they're like looking at me like, and they're waving and like, wow, what's going on? It's like, I do this for me and me alone, but ultimately it's making other people so happy. So like that's like bonus. Hello.
About too, you think about, okay, here's the thing. So we talk about perception, the roller skates. So people, the smiling, because think about, what does roller skating feel like? What does it think like? You think back, I think back when I was a kid, when I first put my skates on, and I had those ones that were the metal and they folded in and they were horrible. You put your sneakers in them.
I had those too. Oh my
Right,
god.
to take to the streets. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was fun, and it was active, and it was risky, and it was flowy and creative, and you know what I mean? It brings you back to those childhood memories, if you have good childhood memories, you know, those favorite memories of when you were on the skates and how you learned and how you skated with your friends. And it does, it
Yeah,
brings like a little giggle back. So
it
I
really
love that.
does. It makes my spirit feel free. Like so free and just flowy. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Highly recommend it.
highly
So
recommend. Well, I had to plug the skating, which is
yeah,
good.
I wiped out, had a big wipeout. With the joy comes the pain too. So I'm recovering from that injury
Yeah.
yesterday. That was quite a moment. Ha ha.
Well, here it is too. So for our new viewers, this is good though, Carey Lee, but for our new viewers, right? So here you are, you're in shape, you're doing your daily 5 to thrive, you're clearly thriving in the flow zone, doing amazing work. But then again, okay, so here you go, you hurt yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to stop you from getting on the skates again, but you had to
No.
stop and pause. How did you take care of yourself using cannabis?
I mean, here's the thing. Right away, CBD. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, I started microdosing CBD for the rest of the day yesterday, and ice, lots of ice, off and on for 20 minutes at a time. And then later on in the day, it just kind of, I could feel my muscles kind of spazzing out and kind of clenching out a little bit. So I took a 1-to-1 tablet that is from MedFarm Iowa's dispensary. It's a Harmony product, so 10 milligrams each, CBD and THC. And it really, really helped to reduce the pain. It really helped to reduce that muscle spasming and cramping in my hamstring, because that's essentially what I did. I landed in a freaking splits position, which let me tell you, sister, I haven't been in that position since like high school. All right. So that was a little tricky. But anyway, yeah, lots of CBD. And then I slowly increased the THC intake as my day, winded down. So, yeah, I mean, thank you, cannabis. I feel so much better today. A little sore, but just still ramping up the CBD to fight that inflammation and help my
Yeah.
muscles recover and heal a little quicker.
Yeah.
So,
So the next part of it, you went to bed early. So this is going to lead into our segment on sleep,
yes, yes,
right?
yes,
So,
absolutely.
and here it is. We have so many different stages of sleep, number one. But number two, what is the goal? To get restorative sleep, restoration. The sleep allows our body to heal in multiple different ways. So let's get into it, Carey Lee. I'm pulling up your freaking badass notes. Here we go. I'm going to let you
So
talk about this.
I feel like, sleep, thank you for being cool about me dipping out of the book club meeting yesterday. I really just had to kind of put myself first in terms
Yes.
of I needed that rest. I needed that downtime to recover so I could be here like, oh yeah, right. Anyhow, so I found this quote about poor quality sleep reducing resilience. So what is resilience? First of all, resilience, emotional resilience, is this buffer of positive emotions that helps us deal with stress and just the daily challenges of life. So if we're not getting adequate sleep, that resilience level goes boop, and then like everything crumbles and goes to crap, right? So
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, a recent Johns Hopkins study, healthy women and men whose sleep was interrupted throughout the night, they had a 31% reduction in positive moods the next day. So it says sleep interruptions interfere with deep, restorative, slow wave sleep. So you're right. That's the goal. That's the end goal that we're really looking for. I think, in terms of when you're dealing with, everybody needs to have really great, sleep hygiene. But when you're dealing with individuals who are battling any type of mood dysregulation, depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatnot, sleep is even that much more important. So,
Yeah.
I feel for the healthcare workers. I feel for nurses. I feel for those that, like there are local hospitals around here. One of the reasons I didn't pursue hospital staff nursing aggressively is because the hospitals around here require their nurses to flip flop, be back and forth between days and overnight. And I just feel like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on with that? So,
So
effects
this
of sleep deprivation. What
Well,
do
yeah.
you think about that?
So here we go. So really quickly, so you think about sleep deprivation. So there's a couple of different types of sleep deprivation. There's the sleep deprivation that happens every now and then, right? Due to specific circumstances, like Mercury retrograde. My alarm went off about 5 times in the middle of the night, right? So my sleep was completely disrupted. But because I have built resilience, I'm going to be able to get through the day, right? And be able to
Mhm.
start my sleep hygiene again. I'm going to unplug every single device in my house right, to be able to get that sleep. Then what we have is the next piece of it. So everyone every now and then has a tossing and turning night, whether it be whether you have discomfort or whatever's going on, mental, emotional, chatter, circumstances, whatever's going on, everyone every now and then has a disrupted night's sleep. Then we go on. Does it continue? Does your sleep disturbance continue over time?
Chronic. Is it a
And
chronic
that's
issue?
yes. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it in a lot of different people. It totally 100% affects how they show up. And I've seen the flip flop, the switch of positive, negative, reactivity, not reactivity, directly 100% affected by someone's sleep.
Absolutely. I mean, I tried early in my nursing career. My first gig was in an emergency department, and I can remember, doing my best to really try to muddle through those overnight shifts. But ultimately, in the long run, I ended up having a nervous breakdown because my body just could not handle transitioning back and forth so swiftly between working nights and working days. And it's unfortunate in that culture that it's looked down upon if you can't suck it up, and pull through those night shifts. And for me, it's just like, you know what? There is no job, there is no anything worth me having a panic attack or a nervous breakdown. So
Right.
avoiding it. So some of the effects of sleep
Yeah.
deprivation.
So
I
Carrie
mean,
Lee, so this is the part that's, yeah, because here's the thing. We talk about mind, okay? We're talking about mind, body, and spirit. And so you think about nurses, health professionals, the amount of stress that they're under, not sleeping. And it's important for them to have what? Sharp minds. It is important
yes,
for them to have memory to be able to recall, right?
critical
So
thinking on your feet.
there you go. So Carrie
And
Lee,
what
so
happens, long and short-term memory issues due to
yep.
reduced neural connections produced from healthy sleep. We need those neural connections to be going boop, 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 right?
Yes.
So,
True. And then
yeah,
here's the thing too, is I know for a fact, over time, having difficulties with creativity, with thinking, with
yes,
concentrating, right? Because I know for
yep.
me, all I'm thinking about is when can I put my head on the pillow? And then all of a sudden, what do? We start to medicate with caffeine and sugar. We
Ugh,
need to choose the best
worst thing.
foods,
Yeah,
right? Because we're
worst
compensating
thing.
for not sleep to get us through the day. And I know for a fact too, when we talk about diet, nutrition, cognitive function, brain health, if we're not eating healthy because we're overtired and we're grabbing for things that are not in our best and highest interest, it's going to affect our brain, that whole
Right.
nutrition psychiatry.
Right, right, absolutely. I mean, there's so many effects: lowered immunity, increased risk of high blood pressure, increased risk for diabetes related to, your body's, has it's producing lower insulin levels due to that lack of sleep, which then leads to that risk of type 2.
Diabetes.
Yeah, on increased risk of obesity related to the uncontrolled hunger that happens when those hunger hormones are released excessively, because again, you're not getting the sleep that you need.
Right.
Here's a big one, and this pertains to medical professionals as well: increased risk of accidents on and off the job related to excessive daytime drowsiness. I mean, if you think about it, I keep coming back to this because I really want to make this point. Think about it. You've got pilots and you've got truck drivers that have limitations to how many hours they can be clocked in, how many miles a truck driver can drive it. And it's like their trucks are programmed to shut off automatically. Why are we having medical professionals going on 1 to 2 to 3 days with no sleep, minimal to none, operating on us and working on us? And like,
well, I remember, Carey Lee, driving home from the night shift when I worked in the intensive care unit for many years, doing like 3, 4 hour, 12-hour shifts and then flip-walking back and forth, just like that. I remember driving home. Well, I remember multiple days driving home, getting home, not remembering the drive home, number one. Number two, I remember sitting at a traffic light, so tired, saying, I'll just close my eyes for a couple seconds to count. Now, come on, y'all. That is not good. Not good at all. Like, literally an accident waiting to happen. The other thing I noticed too is when I didn't get enough sleep. So I'm an IV nurse. I was able to put in PICC lines, midlines, IVs. If I didn't have a good amount of sleep, it was a little bit difficult for me to be steady, to get that right. So you have to think about these things.
Yeah.
Our health professionals, our doctors and nurses, we want them to show up as the best version of themselves, their favorite selves. And their favorite selves truly want to help us at the core. Right. So we need to think about how important sleep is.
So, I mean, there's ways that we can actually create healthy sleep habits. I know for myself personally, I have a specific nighttime ritual that includes things like I like to take a nice warm shower. It's just kind of my way to wash off the day's toxicities and just relax myself. Lighting a candle, turning down screen times at least an hour before you're going to bed. Maybe reading a book. One of my favorites is a cup of chamomile tea with some, CBD infused honey. Chamomile is known to reduce anxiety and just be very relaxing. There's no caffeine in it. I know it's very difficult in our day and age, especially Western society, but believe it or not, going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time every morning is really what our bodies were built for. And unfortunately, with the way
we live,
society is, we can't always accommodate that. But there are other things, like I talked about, that you can do to help promote. Now, THC, let's talk cannabis. For me, I have chronic insomnia. It's related to complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So I have nightmares with insomnia. And the one and only thing that allows me to fall asleep and stay asleep is a really nice THC rich edible at night. And that would be MedFarm Iowa's 20 milligram tablet, which, thank you. Thank you, plant medicine.
Thank you, plant medicine. So I love plant medicine. And so here's another tip, trick, hug, and nug. You do not want to be experimenting with your cannabinoids at nighttime, right? So if you're new to cannabis, it's true. The other thing too, I learned last night, probably one of the reasons why I didn't sleep, we were going through this book and we got to extractions. And there was a lot of people in the group didn't understand what dabbing was. So of course, you know me, being the research that I am and the teacher that I am. And
I love it.
I wanted to teach people how to dab. So I didn't do THC because I knew it would be too much. It was a choice between CBD and CBG. Okay. And I've done them both, but I haven't done them at night. So I wanted to do something that was going to be just a little stimulating because I had a little bit more work to do. And so I did CBG. So this here is a concentrate. It's CBG. It's from Mike's Medicinals. Mike Robinson.
We
if you're
love
out
Mike
there,
Robinson. Woohoo!
yeah, so he sent me some of this awesome CBG. So when do I dab this? A lot of times it just depends upon what I'm going to be doing. So I thought it would be just doing a tiny little dab will do ya. Well, it did. It stimulated me in a way that I was able to get stuff done. Well, before you know it, it's midnight.
Oh no, Cher.
And so I'm like, whoa. So then now I have the decision to make. Now what am I going to take, right? So I tried the breath work, the meditation. I put the headset on, and I'm just vibrating. My mind is really stimulating. CBG stimulated me way too late at night. So I needed to do stacking, a little bit of stacking. And so what I did was inhalation, and I didn't do as high of a THC dose as I usually do because I didn't want to wake up exhausted, you know what I mean? Still feeling like I wanted to sleep. So now it's like me just balancing out my endocannabinoid system and getting the cannabinoids right. So I ended up taking a cup of tea with lavender and chamomile. I also had a valerian, a CBD tablet that had valerian in it. And then I had some of the Super Botanicals honey. So in my tea, I put in this honey that has CBD in it. So I got my cannabinoids multiple different ways. It did take me a little while to fall asleep. And then what happened is Mercury retrograde. You know, weird. As you could see yesterday, we couldn't even get the video started. My alarm started going off in my house randomly. I had my alarm set. I checked. I had my alarm set for 7 a.m. because Carey Lee and I decided to push the show up. Usually get up 2 hours before. My alarm went off at 4. It went off at 4:30. I'm like, why couldn't you go off at 4:20? It went off. 5, 6, and 6:30. So I had to, it was just really, really bizarre how these electronics, it's just, this stuff's real. But anyway, so my sleep was disrupted. I got through it, now it's just a lesson learned. This may affect someone else differently, CBG, but for me in the nighttime,
stimulating.
I don't want to be doing CBG in the evening. I really need to stick to the other more chill cannabinoids.
And when I'd like to also again plug the importance and the benefits of journaling. So when people are out there, whether you're journaling your cannabis intake, you could also be keeping a sleep journal as well to basically kind of combine, what tools am I trying out and using? What cannabis am I, utilizing? And how was that sleep beneficial? So it'll actually, by gathering that data, you'll actually be able to over time then analyze and see what is really working and what is not. And believe it or not, people, we're talking seasonal transitions. It is different during that time frame. You know what I mean? It's a little rough. So
yeah, seasonal affective disorder.
Just my 2 cents on that whole little deal.
And then the one other thing too, which I think I want to get into a little bit deeper because there's been some issues that have come up, is reducing alcohol intake, right? You think about that's a whole other topic that I think would be essential to cover, because what I really want to do with the whole alcohol intake is I want to break down every single organ system. I want to look at the brain on alcohol, the brain on cannabis, and compare. I'm going to go through every single spoke on that umbrella, which is all of our organ systems, and truly going to be able to demonstrate how alcohol is toxic to all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all of the neurotransmitter signaling systems. I'm sorry. It is just not good for your mind, your body, or your spirit. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. And I would love to hear the stories of others who have been able to reduce or completely eliminate their alcohol use thanks to utilizing the plant. That would be really lovely to hear from those the success stories.
So Carey Lee, this has been a great story. Daily 5 to Thrive with Green Nurse Iowa from Soul Thrive. Today's topic was on sleep and all of the different things that we can do to support and nourish our endocannabinoid system, focusing particularly on getting good restorative sleep. And, thank you for being here. Carey Lee's going to be joining me for the rest of the week, which is
You guys are going to be sick of me. Like, all right, lady, don't let the door hit you on the, I'm just kidding.
No,
I love being here with you guys. Oh my God. Thanks for having
good.
me.
Good. So today, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go be my favorite self. What about you?
Me too, girl. Striving for that every day.
Every day. And remember, everyone, what it's all about. It's about living your best life and helping others do the same. We'll see you tomorrow morning.